know what it is. Jay Williams, let's live life, and we're back. What happens when they transfer a bunch of weirdos from a prison where they're safe to a prison where guys are looking for something to eat, to a place where guys have victimized so many others and so many of their own kind that they're more than welcome in these type of guys? We're going back and forth with each other. Violent offenders, not with funny charges. And now another prison gets shut down, and they send a whole bunch of these weirdos to a prison they would have never ever imagined they would end up at. With guys that ain't never going home. With guys that care about them just as much as they care about the average rock on the ground. This is Charlie's story. The man that got caught with all this stuff pertaining to kids. Thought he could fly below the radar. But these guys, if you watch close enough, for the most part, I'm not going to say all of them, for a large majority of these guys, if you watch close enough, you can see the signs. You can pick up on there's something wrong with this man. You can pick up on the fact that he's a weirdo. And guys picked up on these guys real quick. Now, upon getting here, they thought they were going to be in this one particular building and be safe while they were there. We all know how prison runs. It's only a matter of time before you get put out that building into another building. Or they need this building for something and start moving guys in, and y'all get scattered amongst the compound. And then they get to scattering like roaches when the lights come on. What do you do with the roaches and lights come on? You step on them. You eliminate them. That's today's story. Charlie, the guy with super bad charges that just looked like he had super bad charges, and his cellmate Ace. As y'all know by now, it is Friday. Time to get this money, time to get paid. But before you do that, tune in, and I hope you enjoy today's video. With all that being said, you know I done seen it, you know I done lived it, so let's relive it. In 2009, here in the state of Virginia, Department of Corrections did something none of us seen coming. They shut down Brunswick Correctional Center. Now, what they won't tell you about Brunswick is Brunswick mostly housed ex-offenders, guys with bad charges. Guys that had preyed on children. Guys that had preyed on women. Guys that they knew if they put anywhere else in the state of Virginia in a prison system, level 3 or higher, it was going to be a very bad day. That guy was going to walk in. He'd walk in as a tight end. He's going to leave up out of here, wide receiver. Oh, y'all heard me. He went from tight end to a wide receiver. But they shut this prison down. And I've talked about this in the past. I think I did one other video on this. And when they shut this prison down, they shipped these inmates all over the state of Virginia to anywhere that had an open bed for them. They took an entire building at Greensville Correctional Center and emptied it. Started shipping guys off. You're level 3, but you're borderline level 2, we're going to let you go to level 2. Get him shipped. You're level 3, but you've been doing bad. You're going to level 4, get him shipped. They started getting guys up out of here until they got this whole entire building, 344 beds available for these new guys coming in. Now, they would gate off this building to keep them separated from other inmates. They had their own rec yard. They went to chow by themselves. They also had some mental people that came from Brunswick, so they couldn't even get soda cans. They started giving them the soda bottles. These guys were very easy to spot when they first got there because they wore blue shirts like everybody else, but the tip of their collars were orange. So you got an all blue shirt on with nothing else orange on it except the tips of your collar. Now, they didn't take all these guys' shirts when they first got there. These guys are trying to throw these shirts away, putting in the property. Give me new shirts, give me new shirts. Everybody can see what I am. And that would work for a little while. But then, as I said, over time, the prison changes up. Prison's constantly flipping. It's constantly changing. Administration is constantly trying something new. All right, we don't have a big enough building to hold all the whole inmates, so we're going to turn this building into the whole. All right, we need to do schooling. We need more schooling. We need more funding, more grants. All right, we're going to turn this whole building into just inmates that are going to school. This is going to be all the inmates in this building that work inside the prison. In due time, they clean this building out. And these guys start going all over the compound. And you see it. You see a large influx in men going from being men to men becoming boys. Meaning you came in here with a beard. You came in here, Mr. Grizzly Adams. And now you're walking around with your face shaved, with them Skittles rubbed on your lips, with some tight-ass jeans on. Somebody's done did to you what you did to somebody else. Somebody has now made you a victim. But it wouldn't be till the end of 2010 when I met Charlie. And I saw Charlie before I ever met Charlie. I would see Charlie walking on the boulevard, and at the time they had him in a separate building. They had him down in 9 building, where things were a little more laid back at this point. That building had become like what you would call the honor building. If you just had the best conduct, you could lick boots like no other, you was this, you was that, oh, they would put you in that building. Originally, he's in that building. And we see those guys when we go to chow. We see those guys when we go to visitation. We see them on their yard, yada, yada, yada. We would see them. You're not going to miss anybody on your side of the compound. You're going to see guys. And I would see this guy at times standing in the pill call window. That's where you go get your medication. If you're on medication on the streets, you have to continue to take your medication in prison. That's where I would see Charlie at most times, was standing at that pill window as I was going to shower. And you couldn't miss the dude. The dude's 325, 350. Big old boy. I'm talking just... And I don't like to fat shame nobody, but Charlie was a despicable human and a piece of trash human being. Charlie was just a big old fat ass. That's not a shot at you, not a shot at anybody else with some weight issues. But due to what Charlie's charges were, to hell with Charlie. Charlie was a fat ass. So once again, they come in where they start switching things up. Now they want some of these guys out of 9 building. Now they want to mix them in and out because guys are writing grievance. A grievance is when you don't like something and you want to complain, so you write on a piece of form. It's a grievance. Guys are now writing it up. We don't think it's fair that these guys down there get special treatment. We don't think it's fair that they get to do this. And guys are like little girls in prison, are always crying about something. So what do? They break up the honor building. And they start sending guys here and there. I will bring some down here. In comes Charlie. Now, I didn't know anything about Charlie. I didn't know Charlie's charges. I didn't know Charlie had come from Brunswick. But what I did know is that just looking at Charlie, if you could draw a picture of what one of those offenders that likes to mess with women or children would look like, Charlie is the poster boy for that. 100%, you're not going to get a better image of a man that looks like he did that than Charlie. So they put a thing on the bulletin board letting us know that a bunch of people in our building are going to be moving out. If you work this job, or this job, you're going to move out. And we've got guys coming from down there and over here and to swap. We're going to swap things up. We're going to mix things up. Be on the lookout for being. If your name gets called, you got to go. But one day after chow, that's exactly what they do. I'm expecting to go work my little maintenance job. I'm thinking they're going to call my name. They're going to pop my door. Nope. They tell everybody lock back in this morning. We have movement going on. If your name gets called, go ahead and pack your stuff up. We'll give you a new bed assignment in your new building, your housing unit, and you got to go. So now you see everybody at the door. Damn, you've been in here a while. You know guys, you've made friends with these dudes in here. You got to go down here to another building and start all over again. You might not really know nobody in there. So throughout the morning, they would move 20 plus inmates up out of our pod. Everybody stand at the door. Every time they call a name. Whose name they call? They call, man, they ain't call my name. Dude's getting nervous now, they're getting scared. 10:30, 11 o'clock, this is now all ended. All these guys are now gone. And what are we waiting on? The new guys that come. Well, they now sent all the guys out of our building that was no longer going to be there. They're sitting down there. And they've got all these guys out front in the Sally Port just hanging out. Short time later, they pop the door. Guys start coming in. They start telling them, hey, you go to cell such and such, you're on the bottom bunk. You on the top tier, you go to cell such and such, you're on the top bunk. And so on until everybody had their bed assigned. I'm standing at the door watching people come in, hoping that I know somebody, hoping somebody that I kick it with just got brought in here because they took a couple dudes out of here that I actually liked. That's when I would see Charlie in the pod. You can't miss Charlie. Charlie is just, he's a blob. That's the best way. He's got those big calves that look like they belong on a woman. Just big pinkish white calves. The rest of his skin is pinkish white. Doesn't look like he's ever been in any trouble in his life, but he definitely looks like he belongs here. Year after year being in prison, you see these guys and at first you think, oh, he doesn't look like he did anything wrong. Most of those type of guys don't. That's how they trick their victims. But he comes on in. I watch him amongst watching other people, and I'm watching where everybody goes, and Charlie goes up the stairs, and I'm looking, I said, oh, they're not about to put him in this. They're not going, he's not going to cell with Pakistan, that's for sure. He ain't about to go in the cell with Nader T, that's for sure. They just put him in the cell with Ace. Now, I've talked about Ace in older videos of mine. Ace is a lifer. Ace told me, I'm not going to say one of the most disturbing reasons for a person to be in prison, but it definitely ranks up there, that he took the life of his girlfriend's parents over an argument over a 6-pack of sodas. This is not cap. This is not a lie. This is 100% facts. They went to the grocery store. He gave them the money to get the sodas. They didn't get the sodas. An argument ensued, and then whatever happened in that kitchen, in that living room that day, resulted with him a life sentence and 2 people gone. Ace is one of these guys, he worked his job all day, every day. He did not bother anybody. He got married since he was in prison. Ace is one of these guys you don't mess with. He's just a big dude. Like a lot of dudes in prison, he's naturally a big dude. Ace is a 6'2", 6'3", white gorilla. Doesn't have no tattoos. He's got the skullet. He's got the drop top, no hair on the top, hair on the sides he kept combed, but he's a big dude. Fake teeth up top, real teeth on the bottom, just... He's not the type of person you would want to go up against in a fight. He's just not. You ever seen somebody that's hands are just calloused? And they ain't done nothing to him, ain't been punching nothing, ain't done no serious labor. 20 years later, their hands are just still calloused. Both this man's hands were calloused, which I don't know if he did push-ups on his knuckles, what the case may be, but his hands were super ugly. I watch the cell door pop. Charlie goes on in there. I don't see Ace. No sooner than you would step in the door, the guard would shut the door back behind you. So you step in with your bags. Hey, what's going on, man? I'm your new cellmate. And they sklang, shut the door. Now it's going to be what it's going to be. A little bit later, they call movement. Guys have got settled in. We're going on back about our normal day. I go on to work. I come back in that evening about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and this is when I really get a chance, because now the pod is opened up. Guys are moving around. The penitentiary is like a small city, and I'm looking around at all the new faces, really trying to get a grasp on all the guys that left and who are all these new guys that came in. I look up at the doorway, and what do I see? I see old Charlie. You got Charlie on the top tier standing there scanning the room. You got Ace down here watching TV. Ace had his own TV, but when sports were on, he would come out and he'd watch the pod TV, because that's the big 36-inch TV. Big 36, doing big things in prison with the 36 bubble TV. So you see Ace sitting out here, and you see Charlie standing up there. Now, Ace didn't talk to a lot of people. The only reason I ever really talked to Ace is because Ace used to have a dude in the cell with him that I kicked it with. And then that guy got transferred many years ago, and then me and Ace were just talking past it. So that would be one of the next times I seen Charlie, just standing in that doorway. Now, as we progress through the weeks, prison's almost like a fast-forward effect. Time really doesn't exist, but it does exist. But at the same time, time kind of just passes in there, right? We move on forward. And what I do notice is that Charlie never talks to Ace, and Ace never talks to Charlie. They would go in their cell when they had to go in, but you would never really see them intertwine or speak when they were amongst each other. Now, after about a month or so, these guys being in the pod now, we start to hear rumors. Guys love to talk, and you got guys that work over the administration that can get a hold of your charges. Oh, yes, Lord, please believe they can get a hold of your charges. You go and hide, and somebody ain't going to dig into you. If somebody don't call home, somebody will find out why you're in here. But it starts coming back on different dudes that are in this building. Not just my pod, but in all 4 pods in this building. This is 4 stories high, 4 different pods with 344 men. Now, there's a lot of things I don't like about prison. One of the biggest things I don't like about prison is the facts when it comes to it. Guys will hear something that he'll tell this guy, he'll tell this guy, he'll tell this guy. And by the time it gets to you, it couldn't be further than the truth. It's not real. But we start to hear rumors on all these different guys that are in the pod. Yeah, he's a weirdo. That dude right there took a woman way back in the day, and da-da-da-da. And this guy right here, he's convicted of this. And then they get to Charlie. Charlie's got all these victims, man. Children. Lots and lots of them. They got it in his phone. Got it off his computer. The man ain't been locked up long. Yes, it's a whole rack of it. Charlie made the news. Charlie was in the newspaper, on the television. Like, people have validated seeing Charlie and knowing what Charlie's locked up for. Other people from the jail remember his charges and why he was going back and forth to court. Just being a human being, guys like this should just rub you the wrong way. You shouldn't feel comfortable. You shouldn't like them. Only God could judge me, that's what they say. Well, we ain't in heaven. We're in prison. And in here, we judge you. So the rumors about Charlie start floating around the pod. That he supposedly got all these kids and videos of what he did, and that he's got all this time. And I know it's a matter of time before somebody does one or two things. Just gets at him on the strength of just make him hurt, make him feel my pain. Or somebody decides, I want a 300-pound plus boy. Whatever the case is, this is going to end bad. Now I start seeing dudes talking to Ace that don't usually talk to Ace. These same dudes that have been gossiping and talking about this and talking about that, they're not just telling other inmates, but they're going to these guys' cell partners. Hey, man, you know the guy they got in the cell with you got bad charges, right? I mean, look, I'm not trying to start nothing. I ain't trying to tell you do nothing. I just thought you'd want to know who you celled up with, who you got sleeping in the cell with you, who shares your space, breathes your air, is in your way all the time. Yeah, that dude's a Mo. Documented Mo. Here's his name. Have your people check him out. Have your people look into him. The guy's a Mo. He likes kids. After all these rumors start, things get real weird between Charlie and Ace. You would see that if Ace was sitting in the pod watching TV and he got up and he went upstairs to where the cell was, Charlie would come out the cell, lean on the rail, or go sit down at the table by himself, and Ace would shut the door. My only guess is that he told him, if I'm in this cell, you get out. We're not going to be here together unless we have to be. But anytime you see me come in this direction, get out the cell, stay out the cell till I come back out. There'd be times Ace would go in there and go to sleep for 4 or 5 hours. And the whole time, Charlie would just sit out there like a puppy, looking up at the door occasionally. Looking up at the door occasionally. Steadily looking up at the door occasionally. Just hoping that Ace would come out so he could get out of this day room where he knows people want to get at him. Now, for other inmates, you know who we expect to handle this guy? Him. He's in a cell with you. You have a life sentence. You're never going home. There's no possibility of you going home. You're never going to make parole. You've got life plus hundreds of years. If the president said everybody's free to go, your ass would still have to stay, Ace, because you can't leave. Ace is never going home. So naturally, everybody expects that when this happens, Ace is going to be the one to take care of Charlie. Now, y'all bear with me, because after I tell this story, I'm going to get into more about Charlie, Charlie's charges, who Charlie was, and so on and so on. That's a grown-ass, big-ass man right there that was preying on the kids out there. And you would see the tension start to build. To where Ace even looked up at the cell and Charlie was standing up there, and Ace got up, Charlie would immediately leave from the cell. Ace goes in the cell one day, Charlie grabs his shower stuff, goes out, goes down there, hangs it on the shower, goes back to the cell to get something else, and another dude goes in the shower, takes Charlie's stuff and throws it in the floor. He walks over there, hey, I had my stuff hanging up there, and dude bases up on him, gets in his face, shoves him, makes a whole scene, calls him a chomo in front of everybody. You don't get first on nothing. You get in where you fit in. I got the shower. If you don't like it, come over here, we'll handle our business. He picks his stuff up, goes, sits down in the day room, looking all embarrassed, looking scared, and just sits there. Dude goes ahead and takes his shower, comes out, now the shower's open. He yells to his homeboy goes get in the shower, and now Charlie just sits down there with his stuff. Can't get in the shower, and I don't feel bad about it. Charlie. The next situation I would see would play out over the phone. Now, we had phone lines in prison, meaning you don't just go get on the phone, especially if the phone is hanging. If the phone is hanging, that means somebody left it hanging for a reason. When it's hung up, that means it's free to use. But if that phone's just dangling, you know that somebody either walked off to get something. Hey, write this number down real quick. I'm going to go to my cell, grab a piece of paper. You leave the phone hanging. Or somebody's done with their phone call. Hey, I'm done with the phone. Jay, you got next on the phone? Yeah, leave it hanging. I'll be there in a minute. They hanging. Letting the next person know this phone is still in use. Don't take it. You see Charlie sitting out in the pod one day and he keeps glimpsing over the phone. And what does Charlie do? He decides he's going to call home to the people that care about him. He makes his way over there, picks the phone up. Hello? Real timid dude. Hello? Hello? Making sure nobody's on the phone, goes ahead and hangs the phone up and starts talking. Now, at this point, we had a big biker dude in our pod named Terry. I think I've talked about Terry in the past and the whole TV situation. Anyway, we've got a big biker dude in our pod at this time named Terry, who sees him on the phone. Terry's not about to use the phone. Terry don't even got to get on the phone, but nobody wants to mose on the phone. You don't get the same things we get. Sorry about your luck. Terry'd make his way down to the phone where Charlie was and tell him nicely, hey, hang the phone up, man. And he looks at him, hey, hang the phone up, man. That's my phone, hang the phone. But the phone was hanging. Terry calmly looks at the control booth, looks around at everybody else, grabs the side of Charlie's head and smacks it off the side of the wall. Foul! He lets go of the phone, shoves him out the chair, hangs the phone up, drags the plastic chair back over there, puts it against the wall, and tells him, don't touch the phone again. At which point, Terry makes his way back up the staircase and back to his cell. He just split the chomo's head right off the side of the wall for using the phone. You don't get to use the phone. No, we don't care who you call. You don't get to talk to other people. Once you cross that line of hurting a child, hurting a woman, doing anything in that category, nobody gives a shit about you no more. As we know, it always ends bad. The rumors about Charlie just continue to spread, to the point that if you ain't heard the rumors about Charlie, you just ain't listening. Mind you now, there's some other guys that got sitting here. They've already packed up and got out of here. There's two left. There's Charlie and there's the old man on the bottom tier. It gets to a point now where Ace is starting to talk to people he usually don't talk to. Hey, come here. What'd you say he's locked up for? They put him in my cell. I don't bother nobody. Just here trying to do my time till I don't wake up no more. And they want to put this in the cell with me. They know better than put him in the cell with me. I'm a lifer. Never going home. Got no reason not to do whatever I want to do. What are they going to do? Lock me up some more? I'm locked up. But he would get into conversations with people about Charlie and Charlie's charges, to where the story just got worse and got worse and got worse. Now, Ace wasn't no booty bandit type dude. He wasn't nobody that wanted to. Charlie, he's not into that. And I think I told y'all earlier, Ace got married early on in his bid. Met a woman, and this woman had kids, whatever. He married the woman. But he never had any kids of his own. But he does have nephews and nieces. Now, they've grown up. So he's got cousin this, cousin that, but no actual children, no biological children of his own. But everybody knew that the man was very close to his family. His family would come see him once a month. You'd see him go over on Sunday. Big-ass man sitting there with his iron jeans on, big-ass shirt on, arms all swole up, and he's an older man now. Sit there, and that's when you would really see him start to branch out, talk more, open up, actually smile. But what you noticed in him going over there is a lot of time when they came over with younger kids. Now, I don't know who these people were. I don't know if this is his sister, his cousin, his neighbor. I don't know who these kids are. But I do know that when Ace would go to the visiting room, there are a lot of times there'd be 1 to 2 kids sitting in the visiting room and talking with him. And you would see in the way that he played with them that he loved the children. He would hug them, laugh, joke, ha, 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 play games with them as we sat at the tables in the visiting room, and then it would end. When you've seen these things happen, you can almost predict, if I had to be a betting man, how this thing is going to end up. So Charlie ends up getting a visit with his mother and father the same time that Ace gets a visit with his people on a Sunday. Now, when they come back, you can see Charlie comes back before Ace. When he comes to that door, I don't know if you know what terror looks like, fear looks like, or just the uncertainty that you know something's about to happen. That's the best way to describe the look on Charlie's face when he came through that door. He didn't even, you're supposed to come in and check in with the control bar. Hey, look, I'm back from visit. His name's such and such. I'm going to pop my cell. He didn't even check in with the control booth. He just went up there to where his cell was and started waving his arm. It wouldn't be after he's in there maybe 10, 15 seconds, you see him start bringing his stuff out the cell and sitting in front of the door. What could have happened? He just came back from the visiting room. Why is he packing the stuff up and moving out the cell? And as he's doing that, you look over at the door and you see the door slide. Sklang! And you see Ace come through. Ace doesn't stop the control booth. Ace unbuttons his shirt, takes it off, drops it on the ground, and shoots straight up the staircase. Now, at this point, Charlie's still in the cell packing stuff up. You see Ace go up in front of the door, take his foot, move the stuff from the front door, step in, hit the button, and before the door could fully close, you see him grab Charlie, you see him go in on him. Now, I can only assume what he did to Charlie in that cell. From the sounds of it, it sounded like he was using Charlie to break down walls. It sounded like he touched every spot in that cell with Charlie's body. It sounded like he punched every part of Charlie you could punch. And then there's a difference between a punch and a head bouncing off of a concrete floor. You know the sound. It's just a hard thunk with no hollow, no none of that. A thunk, like if you drop a book on the floor. That's what it sounds like when a head bounces off the floor. Ace is up there and he is trying to kill this boy in this cell. I'm talking about, and this goes on for better part of a minute and a half, 2 minutes. To the point at one point it stopped. He's beating on Charlie and you hear this dude screaming and yelling and scuffling. At one point you see him come to the door and you see him get snatched back from the door. And then you would see Ace move by the door. There's a long, elongated slot in the door where you can see through. We're in the day room. Everybody's now trying not to draw attention because we more or less want him to get what he's got coming to him. But you're also still looking. And the guards, they pick up on this. They're trained to watch us. Because if there's something going on in here, all they've got to do is look. And if everybody in here is looking in one direction, what's the guard going to do? She's going to, where are they looking? And she's going to look in that direction until she can pinpoint what we're looking at. Meanwhile, Ace is still up there and he is destroying this dude. Ace continues his assault in the cell. And it comes to a point where we see the guards starting to come in and Ace hits the button and comes out the cell. One of the first things I noticed upon Ace coming out the cell after this beating that lasted every bit of 2 minutes, if not longer by the time it was over, is that his shirt was ripped in the front and there was blood running down the side of his neck. Blood on his shirt. Blood on them big callous hands of his. Blood on his arm. He had blood throughout the front of him where he'd been beating on this dude. And when that door slid open, you could see it. It wasn't just on the ground. It wasn't just on Charlie. There's splatter on the walls. You would take a towel and hang it up over the ladder where you climb up the bed. There's splatter on the towel. I don't know if this man's alive or what's going on, but I know he just did the number to him. He steps out the cell with his shirt ripped, and the guards are coming in, and they're coming deep. They're yelling, lock down, lock down. And he goes ahead and he puts his head against the wall, and he puts his hands behind his back. More or less knowing that they're going to lock him up, knowing he's going to what we call jail, a.k.a. the hole. No sooner they get Ace out of there, they're calling for the nurses. Nurses come running in. Sergeants come running in. Lieutenants come running in. They get Charlie's big ass, and they're in the cell. At first, I thought Charlie was up out of here. I thought he was done because of how long they were in the cell. Usually, if you're in bad shape, they try to get you out the cell and over to medical where you can be properly treated as quick as possible. But no, they're in the cell upwards of 10 minutes. You don't see Charlie. You don't hear Charlie. You don't hear no noise. You just hear the nurse yelling at the other nurse to do this. There's more nurses coming in. They're bringing supply bags. They're cleaning this up. They're cleaning this. They're doing all these different things in the cell. And then eventually they come in with the gurney. And it takes an ass load of these officers to get his big fat ass on his gurney and wheel him out. They go down the end of the tier. The door opens. They go through. They go into the elevator. They take him to the ground floor. And off they go. As the hours would progress, guys would come back from the visiting room and be like, oh, what Ace at? Now, Ace just came back, snapped out about kill Charlie in the cell. I already knew it was going to happen. Well, what do you know that we don't know? Because all we know is they went to the visiting room, came back, and Ace went to sell about, took Charlie's head off. Like, they sitting in the visiting room. Ace sitting there with his family, and I guess he looked over and seen Charlie looking at the kids that was with him and took offense to it. Snapped out in the visiting room. They got in between it, ended both of their visits, sent Charlie back, wait till Charlie was on his way, and held Ace back. I can't believe they sent him back in here. I can't believe they let him come back to where Charlie was. He was legitimately trying to tear him apart in the visiting room. Hold on, so let me get this right. Charlie's looking at Ace's family and the children of Ace's family. Ace sees it, flips out in the visiting room, guards get in between, send Charlie back, keep Ace a little longer, and no sooner than Charlie's gone, they let Ace go through too. Yeah. Now, you know the beating is bad when they bring somebody out of a cell, and as people are toting them on a gurney, the other nurse is standing there and she's got a towel on the side of his head, and she's trying to hold together whatever it was Ace did to his head. So now he's up out of there. Now the cell is empty. We would fast forward, I would probably say another 60 days, Ace comes back. For whatever reason, I don't know if Charlie didn't tell, because Ace didn't get into much detail. He wasn't a big talker. I don't know if Charlie said he didn't do it, because I guess you have to put some type of a statement. You got to say something happened. Maybe the guard said, we're not shipping him. Good for you. Who knows? But whatever the situation is, Ace comes back. Ends up moving into a cell 2 cells over from me. Charlie, I don't see again on this bed. We fast forward 10 years. My dumb ass has been doing great in life, amazing in life, and decides to take the police on a high-speed chase. I'm an idiot at times, okay? I'll admit it. I'll be the first to say it. I end up going back. This last time, right before I come home, I end up in a dorm environment. And I look up one day and I'm looking around and it's just the same old guys in here, but this is the same day I get in here and I come across a face I had seen before. It's Charlie. Except now he's got this scar you can see through his head where it looks like they tried to remove a part of the back of his head. It's this big ass round scar on the back of his head through his hair. And now he's got super, super long hair, right? And I'm watching him, and I tell dude I know real quick, I said, dude's a weirdo. I watched dude Ace damn near kill him up Greensville. He's a whole entire weirdo. And as I've told y'all, Charlie is still in prison. Charlie would do his 8 years. And I've read all this. YouTube struck my video down. The first version of this video, there's so much more. That's why I kind of had to dumb it down, dumb the violence down. YouTube, I don't know if it was because of his picture, if I don't know if it was because of his registration, because of his name, because of me putting up court case details. I don't know why they struck the video down. So this is the second time I've done the video. But when digging into Charlie, this would be what I found. Charlie was convicted in 2010 for having over 300 plus videos of underage children on his computer and his phone. These people had done a sting where they were checking certain places, I'm talking about on the internet, and these peer-to-peer, this is what it said, it was a peer-to-peer sharing type site where they type in keywords, and if your ass had ever Googled or looked up anything like that or typed anything like that, you were going to come up. That's when they start finding these videos that he's sending and receiving, sending and receiving. So then they get a search warrant for his computer, they get the permission to watch his online activity, at which point they realize this man is very, very active in purchasing, distributing, sending, and playing a part in the videos that pertain to young children. Charlie would subsequently be arrested. All of his devices are seized. At which point they realize that out of these 300 videos that's on his computer, the majority of the children on the computer are still missing. These are children that have been trafficked. Children that just came up missing somewhere, suspected to be no longer alive, not knowing where they're at, and they start looking and they're like, that is such and such, that's such and such, that's such and such. So Charlie is directly in touch with people that are responsible for human trafficking and the trafficking of children and doing some of the most heinous things you could ever imagine to a child. And you know what Charlie got? 8 years. Here's my point of view, right? This is my way of thinking with this. If guys like Charlie didn't exist, there wouldn't be a market for this. If there wasn't a market for this, those kids would still be at home. Justice wasn't served in giving Charlie 8 years. Now, they did civilly commit Charlie. I've talked about what civilly committed is. They did it with another guy in one of my stories. At the end of his sentence, when he was supposed to go home, they stepped in and said, no, we're not letting you go. You're sick. If we let you go, you're going to go ahead and do this again. We have to protect society. They only held him for 9 months after that, at which point he was released. He would be out less than a year. I think it said 11 months. Before, not only was he back to the videos, purchasing the videos, distributing the videos, but he was now reaching out to people that he thought to be children and underage minors, only to get caught up in a sting once again and sent back to prison. Except this go round, 31 years is what Charlie got. He got 8 on his first go, but 31 on his second. And I can only hope that wherever Charlie goes, he runs into another ace. And as long as Charlie's in prison, the world is a safer place. Now, as I said, I had to take a lot out of this video. I wish I could just upload the original version of it, but they were not having it. There was some other incidents that took place with Charlie as well that was a little too rated R for YouTube, I guess. People, watch your kids. That's not to say that if your child has ever been a victim of something like that, it's your fault. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying, do everything you can in your power to watch your kids. These guys exist. Monsters are real. And when it comes to them and their urges and these things they want to do, it always ends bad. There's no good ending unless you catch him before he ever does it. And I ain't telling you to take the law into your own hands, but something needs to happen. I live in a great community, a great neighborhood. And because of knowing about these type of men, my kids don't go riding their bikes without me. My kids aren't going anywhere without me. Because I don't know if I could live with one of my kids ending up in one of these stories, man. Charlie, I hope you enjoy your 31 years in prison, you despicable piece of trash. To Charlie's mom and dad, I highly suggest, because I'm sure y'all see this, that you stop going to see Charlie. I know parents' love is different, but I want you to put yourself in the shoes of all those other parents that don't get to go see their kids. 300 plus videos. And most of those kids still reported missing. Do you know how crazy that's got to be for an officer or somebody doing an investigation to be looking for a child, or to see these pictures coming across their desk and then go through somebody's phone, through somebody's computer one day and say, I'm looking for this child. I'm looking for this child. But then the IP address comes back overseas somewhere, comes back over here, and you've got this man in custody who knows where he's getting this stuff from, who there's a good chance he's communicated with these people, and he just, I don't know. I didn't do that. That must have been on the computer when I got it. Okay. Well, that scar must have been on your head when you got to prison. And that shower incident, yeah, same thing. I do believe that if Ace would have been in that cell maybe another 20, 30 seconds, the story would have been much different. He did what the court should have did. He tried to take Charlie up out of here. He just needed a little bit more time. Just a little bit more time. And this would have been a completely different story. And well, Ace would have still been stuck with a life sentence if they got to him in time. But anyways, these streets, these jails, these prisons, they're all just crazier world inside of a already crazy world we live in. And as always, you know what I'm doing. Just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And like always, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. And to all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, you're still watching me. Man, y'all know how we do. Salute.